Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial markets. And this is your wrap-up for Tuesday, and we are now at the 6th of February, 2024. All right, as we look at the markets, and the time, by the way, right now is about 5:50 p.m., there's so much to talk about, and where do you begin with it? Politically speaking, a big hit for President Trump today, negative, in that the appellate court has said that the things he said and things he did after he lost the election, he is responsible for, even though at that time he was still a sitting president, if you will, and we're talking about the January 6th events. Will this go to the Supreme Court? Well, it's certain that the Trump camp will appeal. And remember, they lost an appeal now, so they're going to appeal to the Supreme Court to hear the case. As you know, the Supreme Court chooses what it wants to hear. What if it doesn't want to hear it? That means the president has to stand trial for that. What this does effectively, and I'm mentioning this, all of a sudden Nikki Haley, no matter what her standings are and how she's doing in contests, you're going to see big money Republicans will keep her going on the bet that if something here happens here and President Trump is found guilty, what if he's even sentenced to prison? Who knows what would happen, okay? I'm not saying any of that's going to happen, so don't read beyond it. But if there's always the what ifs, you need somebody standing there that might be able to step in instead of him. This is the person they're going to look at. She even called for more today. I don't know if you saw that. She's going to get, the Secret Service is going to guard her even more now. So things are changing. Pay attention to it. Israel-Hamas, it appears, the word is appears, everything changes in the Mideast very fast, that a truce looks to me like it's going to happen. The negative is, and there's a big negative, out of the 130 so-called live hostages, we're now hearing as many as 50 are not live. They're dead. We will see how this all works out, how it gets going. But one thing everybody wants is hoping a truce can have some legs to it and eventually lead to the end to this war because, nearly 28,000 Palestinians dead, Israel's economy railing, war continually. I don't know what the end outcome is, but the world's had enough of it, but it wants a solution. We'll see what that's going to be. Then in the news, okay, if that's not enough, we get the Mortgage Bankers Association numbers tomorrow. Now remember, just recently, we've watched interest rates climbing again. The trade balance data is going to come out. Do you remember when we had that monster number of, actually that's over here in the consumer credit. This is a little different. They're looking for a negative 62 billion versus last month 63. What I was onto already was consumer credit. Now I'm consumed with this now. And the reason is we're watching credit cards soar. We're watching interest rates stay high. And we're watching the amount of credit that's now starting to go into serious arrears climbing in many areas. Got to pay attention to all that. Are any of you watching what your auto insurance is doing? I was just reading an article as to how much it's climbing everywhere. Something else we got to watch. Petroleum stocks will come out tomorrow at 9:30 in the afternoon. It's consumer credit at 2. And then we get another group of Fed governors speaking. Now, so far, the Fed governors that have spoken are pretty concerned that labor's staying as strong as it is. They are still concerned that wage labor is still there. It's not dropping away. And their base case of some has been removed that they don't see a recession at all, joining my camp. And believe me, I don't have a PhD in economics like these people. I'm nowhere. I'm not even fit to sit in a room with these people. And yet I have been saying, and now I'm starting to hear some of the Fed governors and members saying, you know something, with labor this strong, why are we talking a base case of a recession? Problematic. But what else are they saying code word of? Why are we thinking of dropping interest rates anytime soon? So I think you're pushing back on that as well. That doesn't mean it's weak for the economy. We're still getting, as you know, a lot of earnings coming in, and they are rocking and rolling, and we're watching them surprise. Ford today, a blowout. Lilly, Eli Lilly, power. And stock ended lower, but still power. We watched Snap got smashed, smashed, nearly 20% decline. I'm watching the energy markets here hold on as best as they can. But you know what happens? Got to ask you this question. You got to think now. What happens if Israel and Hamas do reach a truce? Let's not call the end of the war. It's too far. What does that do for supply going through the Red Sea? I would think it increases it. I don't think is bullish on the Brent at all. So I'd be watching that a bit. Bonds and notes fairly stable right here. The metal market just going sideways. The dollar has gotten up to the 104.5 zone. Is that ready to call it a day a little bit and have to consolidate those gains? So there's a lot to be looking at. When I look at the S&P, we're down for the week 0.14%. It's the rally that never ends. You know, is the market seeing the sellers spend all their capital and they can't break the market? That's a question you have to ask. The market has been coming up here, and volume and volatility are slipping a bit. You don't see that, how the ranges are all narrowing in? That is going on. The pattern is still bullish. You have the pattern of higher lows and higher highs. That's bull. If you get back under a 49.37.5, you break that bullish pattern. If you don't and the market goes up, well, none of these moving averages are resistance over the market. So the logical number would be your Bollinger Band, the algorithm that says, hey, 95% of the time you'll trade within me. That number's at 50.25. I'm going to repeat. It seems like it was so far ago, December, when everybody was writing their letters and we were getting calls and where top analysts thought the market would go. If you really read them, from the 4,900 to the 5,200 level was it for the year. Here I'm getting an objective of 50.25, and we're sitting here at 49.73 right now. You have the embedded reading. Now, slow stochastics, which are made up of the K and the D line, the red, and in this case, the blue, go sideways over 80. And when they do it for several days, the market converts from being overbought to locking in a trend and making disbelievers of markets, and it starts climbing. It ends when the red line, in my opinion, closes under 79, and often that leads to a pullback towards the closest moving average, and in this case, it's the 18. But until it's over, it ain't over. And that means that the buyers come in until that is lost, and that's just what I think is going on in this market. In the NASDAQ, are we embedded? Well, you can't count today. So let's go back a day and see what they have for Tuesday. Both numbers over 80. Both were over 80 the day before Monday. But were they on Friday? And that's why I'm showing you this. No. So tomorrow's the all-important day. If it's going to embed, it's tomorrow. More times than not, you will get up, you get overbought, and that's where you're at. You either embed or you correct the overbought. How do you correct an overbought condition? Either by going sideways or breaking. So I think the pressure's on this market to try to break. Now, tonight, here you are, only down 16 points in the Dow Jones, and you're flirting with losing the embedded reading. This acts like a market that wants to put on a bit of a correction. So I'm seeing for the first time that any declines tomorrow in the NASDAQ or the Dow are bad. It means to me maybe the correction is ready to set in that we've all been waiting for so long. I don't know. I'm not a top picker. I'm a momentum picker. Lose those momentums and close under 79, and I do think you're on your way to a correction, and you're already in that correction in the NASDAQ and the Russell. So the only really strong market out here right now is the S&P as a chartist. That's how I'm viewing it. When I take a look at the 10-year note, you've really gone from the lower Bollinger Band to the upper band, swinging back down, back and forth, and going nowhere. While you've got the trend up, the pattern of higher lows, higher highs, the market now has had a couple of days under the 18-day average, so the bias is down. I define bias as when the market's under that key average, the 18, down. If it's above it, bias up. and you're oversold. The market's a mess, to put it mildly, as the charts speak. 5-year note, you've gone from the upper band to the lower band. You're not trending. You're just drifting. And again, you're in oversold territory in the market. In the dollar index, I know as bullish as you want to be on this market, the odds of staying over a black Bollinger Band or under it are 5% of the time. You've gotten up, as I said, just yesterday for the first challenge of the 100-day average and the Bollinger Band, and you immediately got thrown back today. We'll see if there's any downside to the market or if it embeds and it says it's going higher. I don't know. It looks to me a bit tired, but tired doesn't mean you're bearish. In the euro, are you going to embed bearish? You cannot count tonight's action because we don't know where tomorrow will finish up. So let me get you to this. If you look at Tuesday, both numbers under 20. If you look at Monday, both numbers under 20. Not that way on Friday. Tomorrow's the key day. If we embed, it's tomorrow. If not, you get more of a bounce, and the obvious reaction could be to the 108.27, the 100-day average. In the British pound, first challenge of yesterday. Think about it. You hit the 200-day average in the lower band. What did I say? I said, I think the pros are covering shorts there. It's a wild swing and you're not trending. You got a higher high and lower low. You could have gone for a breakout to the downside today. You didn't do it. You climbed back inside the Bollinger Band. Oversold market, I don't think anything. I've had no real trades to be putting out for my clients over the past couple of days. It's boring. You're just not getting the swings in the market that I would look for. Now, we're overbought as can be in the February Bitcoin. The trend is up, but overbought condition and falling Bollinger Bands, I think money's not coming into this. I think people are sitting tight temporarily. I'm seeing this in more markets than not. The differential between Brent and WTI still sitting here in the 523 area, pretty strong. The market doesn't act like it wants to collapse just yet. It is in oversold territory. It's had a heck of a vertical price break. I think you'd agree with that. And the rallies now look to me like they're going to be contained between 79.41, the 18-day average, and the 200 at 79.48. I could still make an argument lower rather than higher in the market. When we take a look at WTI, you can see how the market's got that higher high, lower low, oversold. Looking at some reports tonight by I think it was the EIA, where they're talking lower production from the U.S. This coming year. At first, they were looking for an increase of 290,000 barrels a day. Now they're trimming that back to 170,000 barrels a day. As we take a look at the heating oil market, you have the bias up, the trend down, makes the market a very difficult market to want to trade. And you're fighting in the battle between the 100-day average in green and the 18. I don't see plays there. I am still bearish as can be in natural gas. The hearing is going on. I don't know if it ended today or not, but I was writing about it. And the analysts that are coming out from the natural gas companies are saying just what I've said. Political play by the Biden administration to buy votes. In their words, not mine. There is no reason that they sat back and are putting new programs out there. In fact, there's no precedent for it that they're doing it. But the president has the power because he's the president, and he can tell the Department of Energy, I want to run some reports. We're not going to stop projects that are already in the flow, but we're not going to do any new ones until we know more about this climate. Well, let me tell you when they'll know about it magically. If President Biden gets back in office, he'll know about it. If he doesn't, he'll say, we don't know until we get there, to keep every activist that believes in the climate on his side for a vote. And that is exactly what they, not me, what the head of the nation's largest natural gas company said, and some directors of other independent agencies. No surprise, I think, to any of us. But if you want to find these things out, that's how we make this available with our free offerings. When you come in and you go to our website at iraepstein.com under free offers, this is but some of them. This scrolls down the page, and all you do is click on the blue. It puts it in a shopping cart for you, and we email everything out to you. I think you want to see our reports. If you're a grain trader, you got the WASDE report coming out. It's going to be a big one this week. You want to see what we look like in South America, how U.S. crops are going to fare with that. Now, I'm telling you all these other events happening. The flow of news right now is immense. There's a reason that you're not moving a lot in the futures, and it's the flow of news is so big. The traders are trying to figure out what it all means. What's going to happen with President Trump? Big story. What's going to happen with Nikki Haley? Big story. What's going to happen with the possibility of money for Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and the southern border? Big story. It's unfolding right in front of you, and it all has an impact on the market. So everybody's sort of sitting back, and if you'll notice, ranges are shrinking, volume's down a little bit right now. It all comes out of there. How do you get this? There's a cursor at the top. If you move your mouse, you'll see it. Give it a click. Otherwise, iraepstein.com. You go to free offers, and away you go. I'm Ira. You have yourself a good day. I will speak to you tomorrow.